Get ready!
Well, hey there, welcome to my house of cards. My name's Hoodlie, and today we are going to start on another deck quest. This time we're going to be playing the Digimon card game, and specifically, we're playing using my current build for Gallantmon Beatdown, a very aggressive red deck that focuses on smashing everything in our way with huge Digimon, and then slapping this cool knight-looking dude on the field to pierce our way to victory with his mighty spear. Which is a sentence I really hope does not sound creepy. Currently, we got 3 tiny pink bulbs, 2 tiny pink something shapes. I'm not entirely sure what to call this thing. 3 tiny purple dragons, 3 tiny pink birds, 4 tiny red lizard dudes, 4 other tiny orange lizard dudes, 3 big orange lizard dudes, 2 of him after he's calmed down, 3 really angry looking lizard dudes, 4 blockers, 4 Hawkman, 2 cheap stepping stones, 4 cyborg lizard dudes, 2 really big orange lizard dudes, 4 of Might Makes Me Right, 4 of the best removal card in the game, 3 memory tamers, and 1 just to kind of be there. I'm going to be honest, this is not the best red deck you can make in the game right now. That would probably be Omnimon, because the meta is either Omnimon or purple, and that's like the only thing we have. But I think I did a decent job at this, especially considering I am not the best deck builder in the world. I mostly just have fun making these decks and seeing if they work out. It probably won't, but it's fun anyway. As you can see, the entire deck is basically just some cheap things we can level up into, things that grant power, things that can just make way for big Digimon punching really hard, and then we can slap down our boss monster, Gallantmon. This is a level 6 with 11,000 DP, and if it's Digivolved while you have a red tamer, you can destroy one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Meaning if we have one of these ties on board, we can get rid of at least a blocker, which is pretty great considering his attack thing is honestly really great. This is probably one of the best game enders we currently have in the game, at least for red, because his effect when attacking says that for every 10 cards in your opponent's trash, you immediately discard one of your opponent's security. I think this is a really cool effect because it's not really security plus 1. Instead, it's just like bonus damage whether you're getting rid of a threatening Digimon or you're trying to swing for game, because it completely ignores all security effects. If he swings and your opponent has at least 10, then you just get a free damage, which is pretty awesome. Also, an interesting ruling, if his effect gets rid of all their security before his actual attack lands, he can just attack directly for game. I think he's a really interesting card, and while I don't think he's, the strongest red boss monster we have right now, I think he's really cool. So I made this entire deck around smashing up the opponent's stuff with really big Digimon to load up their trash pile so he can deal more free damage. Aside from that, we pretty much just have a bunch of stuff that's either really strong or makes our other Digimon that much stronger. Starting off with the Digi-Eggs, we have 3 copies of this Yokomon. Its inheriting effect says that if it's attacking an opponent's Digimon, raise it by 1,000 DP until the end of the turn, which pretty much just helps to swing over big targets. We also have Koromon, who gives it 1,000 DP during your turn anyway, as long as the Digimon has at least 4 or more Digivolution sources, meaning it has to be at least one of our level 5s. And it has to start with Koromon, which, by that point, they're probably going to be pretty huge, because we have all sorts of different effects to raise attack power. Then we have our 2 rookie vanillas, Monodramon and Biomon, who are pretty much just the same card. I just run 3 of them because, I don't know, they both cost 2 to play normally and 0 to Digivolve into. They have 3,000 DP and no effects whatsoever. I just felt like running them because they're really cheap to play. And aside from that, our other 8 rookies consist of 4 Guilemon and Agumon. Yes, that's right, we are playing, how many are we playing? We're playing 14 rookies because I really want to see one in my opening hand. Because honestly, if you don't see one in your opening hand, you can't get extra draws, you can't get an extra one on the field during the next raising phase. Just playing a bunch of rookies is usually a good idea, but the main ones we want to use are Guilemon and Agumon. Gallantmon's inheriting effect says, during your turn, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their trash pile, the Digimon gains 1000 DP. So again, we're all about making Gallantmon deal more damage by wrecking everything. So, if they already have 10 cards in the security, he goes up to 12,000. If we Digivolve him off Gallantmon, we can also use him for pretty much anything to make him stronger. So, yeah, pretty reliable boost since we can just smash over most things. Then we have Agumon, who just gives a flat 1000 DP boost. These two are definitely going to be the ones you want to use most often, which is why I'm playing them each at 4. It's kind of a pretty basic kind of thing. They're also both free to Digivolve into, so that's nice. Then we have our level 4s, which we have 4, 7, 12. We have 12. I should really count first. Alright, so we got 14 rookies, we got 12 champions, we got 10 ultimates, and then we have 6 megas. This is just kind of a basic ratio, because you want to have more lower level ones, so you aren't stuck with higher level ones and having to hard play them. I should probably mention that first. But anyway, we have 5 copies of Greymon, but they're split between 3 and 2, and they both do different things. This one just gives the inheriting effect of +1 security attack, which is nice. Again, Gallantmon dealing a lot of damage, that's the whole point. But we also have Greymon, who just gives them 2000 DP during your turn. So, yeah, pretty much just a stronger version of Agumon. So, they're kind of just like, this one is better for swinging over Digimon, and this one is better for closing out games and dealing a bunch of damage. Being able to just deal a whole bunch of security damage out of nowhere, it's really good, which is the whole point of the deck. Then we have 3 copies of Dark Tyrannomon, really just because it's a 6k beater that costs 1 memory to Digivolve into. That's just really strong, and if you place it on top of Agumon, then congrats, you now have a 7k beater that took like 1 memory to play if you Digivolved Agumon on top of like Koromon or Yokomon. So that's cool. Then we have Cordramon, our blocker. It's just a blocker, we're playing it at 4, because it's a blocker. Moving on to our level 5s, which again we run 10 of, we have Garudamon. This Digimon has piercing. This is just a 7k Digimon that you can Digivolve using 3 memory. It has piercing and also a neat inheriting effect, where if the Digimon is blocked, you get to draw 1 card. So again, it's a really neat thing where you can just make a huge Digimon, potentially have like a whole bunch of piercing damage, and just be like, oh, like, you're gonna summon Gallantmon, and he has like, I don't know, he just has a whole bunch of extra DP, and then your opponent's like, I gotta block it to stop them, but his effect still goes through, and you get to draw a card, so it's kind of just like, you can block me, but you're not gonna stop everything. So I like that, which is why I'm running him at 4, mostly just because, I don't know, he costs the same as Metal Greymon, who has a different inheriting effect, where if the Digimon is blocked, you just get +3 memory. Not bad, it can certainly help extend your plays, and these two are kind of interchangeable. Like, you can either get more memory for more plays, or you can just get more advantage. Personally, you could really go either way, which is why I'm playing both of them at 4. They both cost 3 memory, but if you don't mind saving a little bit of memory and only spending, say, 2, you can play Groundramon. It doesn't do anything, but it only costs 2 memory to Digivolve into, so that's nice. It's kind of it, he's just a really cheap stepping stone to get to your level 6s. I've already explained Gallantmon, so let's talk about this other one, War Greymon. When this is Digivolved, it gets security attack +1 until end of turn. So imagine that. Imagine you Digivolved it on top of Koromon, which means it now has 1000 DP, and then you get it into Agumon, which gives it like 2000 DP by this point. It gets security attack +1, and then it could get like Garudamon's +1 draw effect if they actually bother thinking they can stop your massive attack. And then you get this guy, and he's basically just like, you get like +2 security check right off the bat for that turn. And it's also cheaper to digivolve into, it only costs 3, so not too bad. And during your turn, if it reveals an option card, it just doesn't activate, which is really nice. It kind of has a similar thing to Gallantmon, where you shut off certain security things. However, the main difference is that Gallantmon just deletes instantly, and just it doesn't really have to bother with any silly rulings, so that's nice. This is just a really good alternate boss monster that I thought the deck could use. And then we have our only option cards being Terraforce. You know, it's just a pretty simple removal card, just destroy one of your opponent's Digimon. It reminds me of those old Yu-Gi-Oh cards that's like Raigeki, where the only effect is destroy all monsters your opponent controls. It's not that great, but, you know, it's pretty cool. And again, this is just a really solid removal card. As long as this card exists, red's probably going to be a good option, I think. Heard someone say that, I'm not sure. And then we only have 4 Tamers because we need them for Gallantmon. Starting off, we have the Tai Kamiya from the booster set. This one is one of those memory tamers where you get to start with 3 memory if you don't have that much at the start of your turn. And all of your red Digimon with 4 or more Digivolution sources get security attack +1. So imagine just slapping Gallantmon on top of a bunch of these other Digimon and being able to hit for just all the damage. How much would that be? Let's say you go from Koromon, so you'd have an extra 1,000 DP. You get Agumon, so you'd have 2,000 DP. Put it on top of this thing, so you'd have 1 more security. Then you have, say this one. So yeah, again, you'd have like 2 security. You'd have actually like +3 security check with War Greymon. But this guy, by the time you get this guy out, you're probably trashed enough for his effect to work, so you're probably swinging in for like maybe 3, potentially 4 damage. That's probably not going to be super reliable, but when it does, man, it's funny. And the only other one we have is this one that says all of the Digimon get 1,000 DP. The main reason I'm playing 1 copy of this is simply because it costs 2 memory, and this one costs 4. So I'm just like, yeah, this one's cheaper to play. It has a very simple effect, so I don't mind playing it. Really, you could swap this out with just another copy of this, but I like this one just to have around, so I don't have to pay as much for this. And that's pretty much the deck. Again, I'm not really the best deck builder, and if you want a competitive red deck profile, this is probably not it. But I am having a lot of fun with it, and we'll see just how well it does in the matches coming up later this week. If you have any suggestions on decks you'd like me to play, or any ways I can improve this deck, let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, thanks for joining me here at my House of Cards. I hope to see you later. Bye for now.